Yo, welcome to Fast Forward Mindset Motivational Podcast. I'm your host, Coach James. This is where we rewire your thoughts, reset your mindset, and fast forward your life. No more rewinding, just discipline, motivation, and the truth you need to become unstoppable. If you're ready to elevate your mindset and take control of your future, you're in the right place. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. So, y'all, my Denver Broncos is doing their thing right now. I feel like we've beat some of the top teams already in the league. We just got to keep winning. And if we keep winning, hopefully we'll get to playoffs. If we get to playoffs, hopefully we get to the next place and get a chip. It's my hope anyways. So hope all is well, y'all. This is a week that has been stressful for some of y'all, a week that has been a lot of worrisome feelings and emotions involved. One, because of the government shutdown, and then number two, there's talks of the welfare aid not being able to continue due to the government shutdown. And I want to say the word is SNAP benefits is what I think they actually call it to be politically correct. But SNAP benefits are getting ready to expire. And if you're a person that was getting SNAP benefits, you won't be getting anything now, or at least that I know, until the government figure out a way of how to come back together and unite. So if y'all are an individual who is going to lose your benefits due to the government shutdown, there are resources out there that you can take advantage of. I just went to the barbershop this morning, and next to the barbershop, there was a food bank, and they were giving out a lot of food boxes. So don't ever be too proud to beg, because at the end of the day, you still got to eat. So I just want to share that, let y'all know my heart goes out to y'all. I'm praying for y'all, and I hope a quick resolution takes place. Today, I want to talk about experiences in life. My experiences, your experiences, and their experiences. Kind of like they say that it's three stories to every scenario: his story, her story, and the truth. So this is kind of almost the same thing, but a little bit different. But this is my experiences, your experiences, and their experiences. If y'all have not followed the podcast, go do that. Go outside the podcast, hit the follow button, and when you get the follow button, that gives you a perk that other folks don't have. And that perk is that when a brand new episode drops, you'll get an alert on your phone instead of you trying to remind yourself or find a way to remember to listen to my episodes. You get the alert. I have episodes on Mondays and Fridays, just so y'all know. I might throw a special one in there here and there, but it's Mondays and Fridays usually. But anyways, back to today's episode. My experiences, your experiences, and their experiences. My experiences are total different from your experiences, and yours are different from mine. Now, I just want to level set because we're all human beings. All of us bleed the same way, or our blood's the same color, I should say. All of our tears are the same color. If we sustain an injury, our injuries won't be the same. But if I sprain my ankle, it's kind of like your ankle sprain, right? So we're all human, and we all have the same things in common. What makes us different is our pigmentation. But in a lot of cases, at the end of the day, we are still all humans. That being said, we still all have our own experiences in life. And the reason why experiences is big because your experiences is life in life drives your narrative about how you see things, and it creates your reality. Let me give you an example. Years ago, I got in a bad car accident, and it was a really bad car accident. I was actually hospitalized, and I just talked about that on one of the recent episodes. But anyways, I was hospitalized, and I was worried. The doctors were worried that I was going to have back surgery. I broke a couple bones in my back. So that was the worry. But after I got out of the hospital, it's good. Started driving again. And the first thing that came to my mind is that if I drive again, I'm going to get in another accident. And so I was fearful to drive. It was weird. I didn't want to get in an accident. Once I get in that same scenario, I would recreate the accident in my mind again, and I would think that it was going to happen. So back to what I was expressing about our experiences, because I had that experience with a car accident, I kept thinking it was going to happen again and again. The reason why that's a big deal is because your experiences drives your reality. It drives your narrative in your mind that creates the reality that you live. I was talking to a good friend the other day, and we were talking about racial profiling. And I was like, hey, man, I've never had an experience with racial profiling, unless maybe I just didn't look at it as such, but I don't recall having a scenario like that ever happen to me. Well, my buddy had several scenarios where he were put into where it could have been considered along the lines of racial profiling, right? And so he can speak of racial profiling, the experience, and I can't. So my narrative that I live with that is that it's not going to happen to me. It's never happened to me. So my reality is that I'm not looking for that to happen. But someone who has had that experience, it becomes their narrative, and then their narrative becomes the reality. And in their mind, they're always or possibly could be waiting to find another or get caught up in another scenario where it's considered racial profiling. And so those are your experiences. Your experiences are your experiences, and my experiences are my experiences. But at the end of the day, it creates a narrative, and your narrative becomes your reality. But you have to be careful about how you allow your experience from the past to drive your reality, because you could be living a false reality. And let me tell y'all what that looks like. Your false reality is the things that you've told yourself because of the narratives that has created a reality in your mind. So because of that, you start living your life a particular way because your reality is now someone's going to racial profile against you. You're going to get in a bad car accident again. So that's why experiences are very, very difficult. I mean, some of us have great experiences. We want to remember those, but some of us have bad experiences that we don't want to remember. And just so coincidentally, that becomes our realities, right? But, you know, my experiences is different from a lot of folks, I would say. I had two working parents in the house, strong parents, right? I have friends I went to school with who had a one parent home. So their experience of a family is going to be different, right? Uh, I've never been arrested before, right? So I'm not looking to get arrested or think I'm going to get arrested. But someone that has been arrested, that has lived that life, it's a very possibility or a strong possibility that they think in their mind, I'm going to go back to jail again. And because they think that, their mind is now fixated on that. And when you fixate on things, guess what? It really happens. If you keep thinking you're going to get in a car accident, you're going to get in a car accident again. If you keep thinking you're going to get arrested, you're going to get arrested again. It's the reality that we're driving again from the experiences. So we got to be very, very careful. But the thing about experiences is that you can change the way you think of them, right? No matter of the experience that you've had, no matter what your pigmentation is that you can still change that, not the experience, but you can change your mindset and you can change your reality behind it, right? Just because you've been racial profiled before doesn't mean that someone's going to do it to you again. Just because you went through a scenario where you were in a bad relationship and someone took advantage of your emotions and your feelings doesn't mean it's going to happen again. But a lot of times we live our life on that reality. But the best thing about experiences is that you can change the reality in your mindset. Let me tell y'all what I do. When a negative thought comes to my mind, a bad experience, I turn it into a positive experience, right? My car accident. Let me tell you how that works for me now. Now, when I get in the car, I'm no longer looking to have an accident. My mind is that I'm not going to get in an accident again unless I'm not paying attention or it's just catching me off guard. But the point I'm making is that I don't get in the car and think that anymore. I'm not fearful of that happening. If it happens, it happens. But when I'm in a car driving, I'm not thinking of that 24/7. Right. And so my narrative now, my reality is that I don't think that's going to happen. So guess what? It hasn't happened. Now, I'm not saying that, yeah, you can think about it. If you don't think about it, it's not going to happen because chances are it can still happen. But why would you why would you continue to recreate a bad experience to create a reality that may not never happen? You create your reality based on your thoughts. If you change your experiences to great experiences, then your reality is going to be you have a great life or you had a great experience, right? We have to change our reality by changing the way we think. Positive thoughts produce positive results. That is my mantra. I even wear a bracelet that says that. I'm looking for my bracelet now, like, where's that? And I just got through busting suds. Hope y'all know what that is. That's dishes, washing dishes. But I pulled it off and I forgot to put it back on before recording this episode. But if you think of it, positive thoughts produce positive results, your reality will now be positive. So if something negative does happen, you find a positive experience out of that negative experience. See where I'm going with it, y'all? You create your own reality. Although you've had some bad experiences, you've had some heartache, some trauma, it doesn't have to continue to be your reality. You write your own reality by the way you think and the way you live, right? If you change the way you live, then you'll think different, right? You'll live different. Your experiences will be different. Your life will be different. So we need to remember to always keep that in mind. Everything is made up of your experiences. But you take your experiences, you build a positive narrative or a happy narrative, and your reality becomes positive and it becomes happy. Thank y'all for listening. I really appreciate it. Continue to leave the comments on the episodes. I'm definitely getting some really good comments. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. Also on my YouTube channel, my YouTube channel information is in the body of the description of the podcast episodes. So if you're interested in following my YouTube, you could do that. But I'm also on IG as well. That's James Watkins at 40 and Fit Life Coach. I'm always on IG. If you are struggling today with thoughts of suicide, of hurting yourself or someone else, please don't hesitate to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.
Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. And remember, don't rewind your life, fast forward it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.